Alright, so this is what we got going on. I'm going to take you through this little project. We got a set of shiny new wheels with rubber on them, which sucks. When you're painting rims, you want the rubber off the rims, okay? Why? Because you spend an hour and a half a wheel prepping the son of a bitch. Alright, so let's check out what we got going on. Shiny new wheels, and they're dirty, they're dusty, but whatever. We got all the rubber prepped off very meticulously. We got the ring on the back prepped off because I'm shooting the face of these, that's it. I wanted to make a very distinctive line in the back where it all ends. We're scrubbing them down with Scotch-Brite, sanding pad, whatever you want to call it. It's a red. That's going to give me enough tooth to edge prime. Let's go back here and check the one we got set up already. Alright, so this wheel will need to be wax and grease remover and tack cloth. I will take these off, these caps off, to do the base coat. I will edge prime them separately, do the base coat, so I get all that in the base coat. And then when it comes time to do the metal flake, I'll put them on. What we're doing to these, we're going to paint them white and we're going to kill it with metal flake. So, when you're doing something like metal flake, it's really hard to reproduce your results consistently because it's metal flake. You're just scattering it everywhere. This is where we're going to start. Alright, let's come over here. We got some good old ugly etch primer. We're going to use self-etching primer. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to use GM 8554, which is nice brilliant white. And then we're going to murder it with a red flake I picked up. It's very interesting. Never get too fixed on your plan in mind when you're pleasing a customer. I shot out a test pattern and I said, I don't like it. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's what you want. He comes and looks at it and says, can you put more flake on it? I said, fuck yeah. We'll murder it. We'll kill it with flake. So that's kind of what we wound up with for a test pattern. Can't really get it in brilliant enough light to make it twinkle for you. There we go, a little bit of twinkle. Anyhow, he wants more flake than that. Mind you, see the texture? It's really rough. All I did was shoot base down. I put a little bit of clear, a little bit of hardener, a whole lot of reducer, and a little bit of metal flake. That's what I did to do that test pattern. And when I do those, the notion is I want a lot of reducer, then that material a lot. I don't want to build up mills. I want to put a lot of reducer, just a little bit of clear coat and hardener in there, and actually offset your hardener more liberally than a 4-to-1 ratio to a little bit of clear you put in there. Because the idea, from what I've learned and what I've researched and been told, that clear wants to float up and stick up like this instead of lay flat. If you do the heavily reduced, it's going to hit and stick. It should just hit and stick and lay flat. You do your flake, get it all down, let that flash out. It'll be dust free in 20 minutes at that point with as much reducer. And you just got to be careful you don't cause a reaction with the paint underneath with how much reducer's in your cup. So we're going to see if we screw this up and have to scratch and start over or not. Follow us through this process. We're either improving or ruining these wheels, and that's a matter of opinion, and my opinion doesn't matter, neither does yours. It's all on the guy that's buying the service. And he wants white rims murdered with red flake. So let's see if we can Let's see if we can please on this one. Alright, so you folks checking this out? I got that red Scotch right here, and all we're doing is scrubbing these rims, okay? It's going to leave little tiny fine scratches. We're talking like 600, 1,000 grit type scratches, nothing severe. It's going to be enough that your etch primer catches it. And what makes etch primer is actually a small element of phosphoric acid. So when you're shooting your phosphoric acid activator in your etch primer, it's a lacquer primer with phosphoric acid activator. I'm not the chemist, I don't know how all that works, but they've made it work for 40 years now, plus. So right now, making sure there's nothing on the rim itself, and if I have anything bad like a scratch or a gouge, I'll sand it down with a little more aggressiveness with some sandpaper. We have wax and grease removed, all of these already before we started the process of scrubbing. And this is all you got to do. Make sure you get all your edges inside here. You know, you're not, well, okay, backstory. My helper spent, I think, about 3 hours on one of these wheels yesterday, and I let him. I had other shit going on in the shop. I mean, everybody's got to beat their head against the wall at least once or twice in their life. I let him beat his head against the wall yesterday. All you got to do, and once you wipe this off, it'll look shiny again. All you got to do is come in here and scrub it, and you're deglossing it, and you're giving it a little tooth for the etch primer to catch, okay? Mechanical, it's called mechanical tooth. The etch primer will not only, once you bust the skin of the finish, not only will it give you a mechanical tooth, it'll give you a chemical tooth. Again, phosphoric acid. That's what we use to get rid of rust. That's what they use for etch primers. So, all I gotta do is go around these corners, get all my nooks and crannies and so forth. So I got something here, I don't know what it is, so I'll probably get a pad, sanding pad with 400 on it and hit that. So I'm going to go around, I'm going to scrub this whole rim, and you're going to end up with all this crap, all these particles of Scotch-Brite dirt. You tack it off, you wax and grease remove it, you let the wax and grease remover completely vaporize off. When you do wax and grease remover, you got a rag in your squirt bottle. You squirt it, you wipe it off with one rag, and then you wipe it again with another rag. This rag removes contaminants, this rag removes wax and grease remover, if that makes sense. But to prep these, all you need is a little Scotch-Brite, okay? I buy these by the big fucking box. Get the thick, substantial ones, though. The last box I got sent, they were these thin little, they sucked, okay? That's all there is to it. They sucked. There were holes in them. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to continue around this and knock all of this finish down. Work into all the nooks and crannies. You know, I'll take and fold it in half, and I'll fold it in half again, stick it down in here. That's all it takes. That's done. See what I mean? Easy peasy. We're going to be back once we get all of these on the table, prep all, and you can see I got bare hands. We're going to carry them in there. So tack cloth and prep all. I'll show you the etch primer process. Then we'll come back and we'll either hit it with one. We'll probably hit it with one of these or a gray Scotch-Brite to knock it down nice and smooth, get all the texture out of that. And then I can go right into my base coat. Let it do three to four wet coats of base coat, white. 8554 GM is what we're using on this. And then I'm going to murder it in flake, and I'll probably do that in, depending on how it comes out of the gun and how I get it to operate, 1 to 2 passes. When you're doing the flake, you pull the strainer out of the gun cup, and you don't strain the material putting it in, filter the material putting it in, and you open your gun wide open and just hold it way off the panel and blast it with throwing flake at it. You're not putting flake on it. We'll be back. I don't remember where we're at with the footage on these wheels, okay? So let's kind of take a look, see where we're at, and I'll tell you what's going on from there. Wheels. We prepped them, we etch primed them, we base coated them, we flaked them. Verdict comes down, it's not a flake. So then you go over here. That's the flake we had. We just bought another 4 ounces. So here in the next few days, we're gonna get back on those. They gotta leave out middle of next week. We're coming up on the end of this week. We're gonna get them prepped up and ready to shoot more flake on them. I'm hoping to do a dry transfer. We'll see how shit works out, right? So, wheels, more flake. We're just gonna crank away from there. Talk to you guys later. Wow, made it in a video. Thanks for checking in. Come back on the next one. See what the hell we're doing next time. Subscribe, comment. Find us on over on the old Facebook, Smith Welding Restoration LLC on Facebook. Numbers at the beginning. Have any questions? Call.